This past week brought a roller coaster of emotions for me personally when it came to Star Trek. We got all kinds of news, including a loss, filming updates, more Paramount news, and some information about an agreement between Paramount Plus and Amazon that sparked a whole different situation. This is the Star Trek Void, where I try to fill the gap between episodes with a little bit of news and information and hopefully a little entertainment. And this week, I'm going to start off with some upsetting information. And that is the loss of Gary Graham. Yeah, he played Ambassador Saval on Enterprise. He also played Sykes on Alien Nation. That's actually how I knew him best, and I was lucky enough to have met him a few years ago at a convention and couldn't decide which autograph to get, so I got both. My encounter with him was really nice. He was friendly. I had a nice chat with him about how much I enjoyed his characters, and like I said, signed both autographs. And so I did want to share this post here. It was put up by Trek Central. R.I.P. Star Trek's Gary Graham. Sadly, Gary Graham has passed away. He played a variety of roles in Star Trek, most notably the recurring role of Saval, the Vulcan ambassador to Earth in Star Trek Enterprise. If you get a chance to watch Alien Nation, I highly recommend it. It's an enjoyable show. One season, quite a few made-for-TV movies, but a good story overall. And I think, honestly, it was probably one of his best work, or at least my favorite of his best work. This was also the week to remember one of our favorite Trek actors. Yes, this past week was Deforest Kelly's birthday, and this was shared by TrekMovie.com. On his birthday, we remember the great Deforest Kelly, who played Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy on Star Trek TOS, TAS, and Star Trek TNG, and in 6 films. Early in life, he had ambitions to be a doctor, but became an actor instead, appearing in many westerns, often as a villain. And I do recall that there were some issues when he was cast to try and make him seem more like he would be the friendly doctor instead of the bad guy. And so they changed his hair. It was a minor difference, but it did make a difference. And now he's this beloved character that Star Trek just wouldn't be the same without him. And in other birthday news, we wish a very happy birthday to Rainn Wilson, who I think a lot of us know from The Office, but he did a fantastic job as Mudd on Star Trek Discovery. He was also in an episode of Dark Angel, which is a fun piece of trivia.
Max. Is that short for maximum?
Maximum?
As in maximum force, maximum girl, woman.
I always think I'm going to have trouble seeing these well-known actors in different parts, but yeah, he did so well. And the Groundhog Day episode is probably one of my favorite early episodes of Discovery. And they also make a note of him over there that he was in Galaxy Quest. This post was also created by TrekMovie.com, and they say happy birthday to Rainn Wilson, who took on the role of Harry Mudd on Star Trek Discovery, as well as the short Trek episodes The Escape Artist, which he directed. I didn't know that bit. His feature film debut was in Galaxy Quest, The Office, Star Trek, Bears Beat Battlestar Galactica. Very, very awesome to see him. Happy birthday, Rainn Wilson. And just because it's my channel and I can, tomorrow's my birthday, so happy birthday to me. In filming news, we have this post shared by Trek Central. Filming for episode 2 of Strange New Worlds season 3 is done, with Dan Liu now taking the helm for episode 3. Director Jordan Canning shared a new photo and message on Insta. It's quoted as, "That's a wrap on episode 302, and I'm missing it already. Didn't think I could possibly love this show, the cast, and the crew more than I already did. Can't wait to share our truly epic episode when it's all done." Which will be a little while, but that's all right. We can be patient. We are Star Trek fans. Patience is sort of a requirement. And that's a fantastic picture sitting in the captain's chair. Where else would you sit? And it's great to hear that filming is moving smoothly along. One thing that is not going so smoothly is Paramount Plus. And who the heck is going to merger with it or buy out these stocks? Anyway, it's all very confusing and strange, but another company is throwing their hat in the ring, and that's Skydance. Now, we already knew that Warner Brothers Discovery was interested in a merger with Paramount, and now Skydance is throwing their hat in the ring as well. Of course, any sale or merger would have huge implications on Star Trek, especially for the Star Trek series and movies that have not yet been filmed. Or heck, in the Picard movie instance, even really the script written. Now, while Skydance already has an association with Star Trek, having had worked with some of their movies in the past. The problem is that the fate of Paramount Plus itself is at stake. What would happen with the streaming service and that which hosts all of our Star Trek favorites right now, whether they be the current series or anything in the past? It's possible Paramount could be bundled with another streaming service, and in this article, they use Apple Plus as an example. But the long and the short of it means that pretty much any deals that haven't been already put to contract and have been officially greenlit are up in question and whether they'll ever be made. Or heck, maybe a case like Prodigy where it's nearly finished and the series is just dropped. That's why it's so important for us fans to try and make sure that we are heard in however we can be. And Michelle Hurd, well, she has some words to say about that and how our voices are affecting the future of Star Trek. She puts it so simply here. Michelle Hurd says Star Trek Legacy will happen if the fans want it. Now, this article by TrekMovie.com, the previous one was as well, it says that no spinoff is currently in development, but that Michelle says that fans could play a big part in making it happen. Now, if you take a look at the quote here at the top, it says, "I love Rafi. She's my favorite character. We have hands, fingers, everything's crossed for Star Trek Legacy. I know that right now they're working on Section 31 for Michelle Yeoh, and that they're going to do Starfleet Academy. That's going to be a series. And then if the fans still want it, they'll start working on Star Trek Legacy." And so now more than ever, with Paramount Plus's future kind of up in the air, we do need to continue to make sure that we let people know that we want Star Trek Legacy made, while all of the other projects are either in the works, being started, being finished, currently being filmed. While Legacy's been an idea for a while, it is still just that, an idea. Now, this article does continue to go on and say what Legacy could be about. And in another article by Den of Geek, we've got Matalas talking about what Legacy could be about. He'd really like to explore, apparently, Klingons. Yeah, so during Trek Talks, you remember Trek Talks a couple weeks back? I said you need to watch it because fun stuff will be talked about. This is one of those fun things. Matalas asks this. "You think, what's the Klingon Empire like in the early 25th century?" asks Matalas. "The last time they were an allegory to the Russians, kind of, and now what would they be up to, and what does that mean for Worf, and what does that mean for Alexander?" So it looks like if he had the chance, he'd like to go back and look at some of the more classic aliens like the Klingons, and we would see how they've developed. If you think about it, from the beginning at Enterprise, and huge changes when we see them on Discovery, to the people that we know now between, say, the Deep Space Nine Klingons and how Worf has developed as a peaceful Klingon now. Is he unique in that, or is it something the Klingons have picked up over the years? It'd be interesting to find out. Now, of course, we do know the stars and the probable showrunner are interested in Legacy, but what's going on in Legacy news? Well, actually, I had a weird situation go on with rumors, news, and the need for clarification. This week, Sidetrack posted an update, and I was very keen to watch it. It was all about Legacy and how close it was to being created. Now, when I watched the video, my understanding was that Legacy was going to be made. Yay, our fight is over. I greatly misunderstood, or it wasn't quite clear. Luckily, Sidetrack did put out a clarification, and well, this is the news that we have about Star Trek Legacy and where it might air, if it gets made, if they ever sign anything. So there's a tentative agreement. Nothing we know that has been contractually written. Nobody's put their signature down as this is what will happen that we are aware of. But through, I don't know, a strange game of telephone where somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, the rumor is that Amazon and Paramount Plus have a tentative agreement that the Picard movie, Section 31, and if it is made, Star Trek Legacy would be aired on both. Be streamed on both, I should say. Paramount Plus first on Thursdays and then Fridays on Amazon if Legacy happens. Though this seems like it's major news, it's really kind of not. And really the big news in all of that is that Amazon was going to help pick up like 30% of the bill. Again, if these things are made fully. Picard doesn't even have a script. Legacy doesn't even have a green light to be made. So while at first it sounded like Legacy is being made, it was more like Legacy is being talked about by people. And I got very excited because I'm a very reactionary person. I'm great in a crisis. If your house goes up in flames, you're going to want me there. I'm going to do my best to get you out, your family out, your fur babies out, and your most precious collectibles will be included in that. But it does mean that sometimes I react to news quickly without always thinking about, or at least having a better understanding of what's being talked about. Reactionary. It's a problem. I understand it. I'm working on it. The good news is when I did hear this information, I did what I could do. And well, I asked Twitter. More importantly, I tagged anybody who would be associated with Legacy that might answer. And lucky for me, Todd did. It was a very short answer though. And there you have it. Yep. Todd got back and says, nope. Don't you believe it? And honestly, that makes sense. If this is a if it happens sort of deal between the big wigs, it's talent. They don't need to know anything yet, especially if nothing has been signed. And so despite my hope that Legacy was a done deal, we're still working towards that. If you don't know, Letters for Legacy is a group I belong to, and we are doing our best to try and get as many letters sent to Tom Ryan, who is, for now, the CEO of streaming at Paramount Plus. You can check out the website, which will have a link, or you can just check out this QR code here. This is an example of the cards that were just delivered. I'll give you these guys. I'm not sure if you can get a good picture of them, but yeah, these cards here are what I'm going to be handing out at a convention that I'll be going to here at the end of March, where I will be trying to get as many people as I can to sign letters that I will mail in for them. To one, rally them to the cause, and two, get another letter ready for Mr. Ryan. Now, for this next convention, I do have a vendor's table that I'm trying to get, and therefore I'm raising a little bit of extra money so that I can afford everything necessary to run the table and stay at the convention. If you would like to help me in that, please check out my GoFundMe link below. That'll take you to my GoFundMe page. I'm trying to raise about $1,200, but really anything will help because these cards aren't cheap, and this is only the first batch. Got a whole bunch of stuff I've got to get. Please help if you can, and if you can't, spread the word for Letters for Legacy. Send in a letter of your own. Let's get Star Trek Legacy made so we can all enjoy Captain 7. And we could get a cool new intro for a new show like this one made. This one is posted by the Scorch 1701. There's a vision of Starfleet's ongoing mission in the 25th century, one that continues the story from Star Trek Picard into a bold new frontier. We have a ship, we have a captain and crew. Now all we need is you. Tell the universe you want a legacy. What a great intro that is. Love it. Simple, pretty, elegant. It's good stuff. I do love when fans express their love for Star Trek, and in that spirit, I'm going to give you the name of another artist who's been doing some great work for Legacy. I know this is turning into a Star Trek Legacy video. I apologize. But if you have not checked out Will Wong's Star Trek Legacy fan art, you're missing out. All right, so I'm on Will Wong's homepage here, but you can see some of the art that he posts for Star Trek Legacy. Again, it is fan art. But it is such fun stuff, and he's been nice enough to allow us to print posters for our booths. Of course, these are not for sale. No money is being made for it, just the hope to make Star Trek Legacy. And he's an equal opportunity Star Trek fan art maker. He's created some stuff for Picard. Here's another one for Legacy. And occasionally, he's a little silly. But yeah, give Will a follow. He's good fun, comes out with some really interesting designs, and comes up with new stuff all the time. I want to thank you so much for coming and checking out this video. I know it kind of went on a Legacy tangent, but like I said, it was a weird week with Legacy. I want to also thank Sidetrack for making the original video to get the information out there and being willing to discuss it. And then clarifying that mostly it had to do with the financial ends of how things might be paid for, and not that things were actually a done deal. I want to thank also my donors this week for my fundraiser. I've got anonymous donor number 3 now, and then The other one was my mom. I'm not going to lie. It was my mom. She could not get the online donation to work, so she just handed me cash. Thank you so much, Mom. I also heard that some people are having trouble making a donation. And if that is so, please let me know. I can't really do anything about it, but if more people let me know, then I can tell GoFundMe, and hopefully they can figure out what else is going on, because I also have a $5 donation from Anonymous, and it went through just fine. Again, I know this video was a little off compared to usual. Again, it was a weird week, but I do want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for liking, and thank you to my new subscribers. It's really nice to have you here. Also, thank you to my Patreons and my members. If you would like more Star Trek updates, if you happen to like Outlander or a couple of other shows I talk about, please go check those out here, and I will see you there. We wish a very happy birthday to now the Trek movie. That's just quoted as that's a warp. I almost said that's a warp. That's quoted as that's a warp on. That's a warp. I did it twice. And 2, get another redder letter, and in another.